Every 25 seconds, a property crime is reported in the United States. But what happens when that crime is caught, frame by frame, on camera? Join me as I sift through some jaw-dropping footage of crime caught on camera that has left everyone in disbelief. Every 25 seconds, a property crime is reported in the United States. But what if I told you some of the most shocking crimes didn't happen in the shadows, but right in front of the lens? Tonight, we unravel the most bone-chilling crimes caught on camera. Real footage that left entire nations stunned. Stay with us. The final clip will shake you to your core. Every 26 seconds, a violent crime is committed in the United States. Every minute, a surveillance camera records it. But the most shocking question isn't what the cameras see. It's what they miss. What happens when the camera captures evil in real time? Yet nothing can be done to stop it. Tonight, we peel back the curtain on the eye that never blinks. We live in a world watched by millions of eyes, silent, tireless, and impossibly precise. Security cameras perched above gas stations, dash cams rolling 24/7, hidden nanny cams in plush suburban homes. Even your smartphone is always watching. The modern crime scene is no longer confined to chalk outlines and shattered glass. It lives in the cloud, in memory cards, in the grainy footage reviewed frame by police, lawyers, and families who wish they could look away. Once, the camera was a witness to joy, weddings, birthdays, family reunions. Now, it often captures the very worst of humanity. The rise of surveillance has changed everything. Not just how crimes are solved, but how they are seen. A brutal attack no longer lives in whispers or second-hand retellings. It lives in HD, online on repeat. For some victims, the footage is the only voice they have left. For their families, it is both salvation and torment. In 2009, the mugging of a 12-year-old boy in Chicago went viral. Not because of the brutality, but because of the boy's wide, terrified eyes staring straight into the lens, as if begging someone, anyone, to help. No one did, but millions watched. Law enforcement, too, has evolved. Once reliant on eyewitnesses and circumstantial evidence, investigators now begin every case with a question. Where's the footage? A purse snatching? Check the ATM camera. A shooting? Run the street cam logs. A kidnapping? Maybe a neighbor's Ring cam caught the license plate. In some cases, the camera is the key to justice. In others, it complicates everything. A man accused of robbery might have shaky footage that proves him innocent. Or a murder suspect may be freed, because the video was just 1 second too short. The camera sees all, but it doesn't always tell the truth. One evening in Phoenix, a woman walks into a corner store. She never walks out. The footage is chilling. A man follows her inside, lurks in the aisles, waits. Then, without warning, he attacks. She screams. The store clerk calls 911. The man vanishes before police arrive. The whole incident, on video. The police release the footage to the public. Tens of thousands share it. Millions view it. But the man wore a mask. No identifying features. No license plate. No fingerprints. He's never caught. The video was clear. But the justice? Still blurry. In the darkest moments, cameras don't intervene. They don't scream. They don't fight. They watch. And in doing so, they capture the truth. But truth alone doesn't stop the crime. It merely records the moment evil decided to act. The question isn't whether the camera sees you. The question is, will it be watching when your story turns into a crime scene? Surveillance sees almost everything. But what happens when the lens lies? What if the evidence is corrupted, edited, or erased? In the next case, a killer walked free. Not because he wasn't caught on camera, but because the footage was too broken to matter. On a rainy evening in 2017, 29-year-old Hannah Morales was found dead in her own home in Tacoma, Washington. No forced entry, no missing valuables, no witnesses, just one lead, an apartment building security cam pointing toward the hallway. Investigators hoped it would provide answers. What they got were more questions. The hallway cam showed someone entering Hannah's unit the night she died. But the figure was distorted. Due to a software glitch, his face was unreadable. The timestamp skipped 5 minutes. Crucially, the moment he exited, missing. Whether by chance or sabotage, those frames were gone. A digital forensic analyst was brought in. She found evidence of manual tampering. Someone had accessed the recording system, deleted a small but vital clip. The system's access log also wiped. The camera had seen the killer, but the killer had seen the camera first. Police had a suspect, Cameron Wells, a former boyfriend with a history of violence. His fingerprints were on the doorknob. He had no alibi. But without a clear image or full footage, the prosecution's case was weak. Cameron's defense claimed he visited Hannah earlier in the day and left long before her death. The defense attorney grilled the forensic expert. "Is there any unedited footage proving my client committed a crime?" Her answer? A painful, honest, no. The jury couldn't convict. Cameron walked free. Hannah's family, left with grief and a corrupted hard drive. Hannah's mother later said, "We didn't just lose her, we lost the truth. And all we got in return was a glitch." A federal investigation was opened into the building's surveillance provider. They found poor encryption, outdated storage systems, and open admin access. The footage wasn't just easy to view, it was easy to manipulate. Cameron had a degree in computer science. No charges were filed, but the coincidence felt like a slap in the face. Hannah's case isn't unique. Across the country, faulty or edited surveillance footage has derailed dozens of cases. A liquor store robbery in Boston, where the suspect's face was deliberately blurred by the store owner. A parking lot beating in Dallas, where rain short-circuited the camera's mid-assault. A mall shooting in Miami, where 3 crucial angles were never saved due to storage errors. In the digital age, justice hinges on integrity, not just of people, but of the machines we rely on. Experts warn, for every crime the camera solves, there may be another where the truth is lost to corrupted pixels, human error, or worse, intentional cover-up. The security cam that could have sealed a murder case still records that hallway. Every hour, every day. But to this day, it has never recorded justice. Her family visits her grave every year. And every year, they ask the same question. If the footage had been whole, would she be alive? No one answers. Because the pixels don't speak. Justice doesn't just depend on what's seen. It depends on what's preserved. And when footage fails us, so does the system. Some crimes go unnoticed. Others get 25 million views. When this clip hit the internet, it didn't just shock the world. It forced it to react. A simple video. A single voice screaming, "He can't breathe." And suddenly, the verdict wasn't in a courtroom. It was being handed down by the people. May 25, 2020. A Minneapolis convenience store clerk makes a routine 911 call over a suspected counterfeit bill. The man in question, George Floyd. What happened next was recorded from every angle. Police body cams, cell phone footage, security tapes. The world wasn't supposed to see it. But once it did, there was no going back. 8 minutes, 46 seconds. A police officer, Derek Chauvin, kneels on George Floyd's neck. Floyd pleads, cries out for his mother, begs to breathe. And the world watches. A teenage girl films from the sidewalk. Her hands tremble, but she doesn't stop. She knows what she's seeing. Everyone does. But the officers don't care. Not until it's too late. Within hours, the footage goes viral. By morning, it's on every news outlet in the country. By evening, protests erupt across Minneapolis. Within 48 hours, the world is in the streets. Justice isn't just being demanded. It's being shouted, screamed, painted, marched, and live-streamed across continents. And all of it sparked by one camera, one moment, one voice that said, "This is wrong." The footage didn't just force an arrest. It forced accountability. Derek Chauvin was fired, then arrested, then charged with murder. During the trial, the prosecution's star witness? The video. Over and over, jurors watched those 8 minutes. Not once did Chauvin let up. Not once did George get up. The jury deliberated for just 10 hours. Guilty on all counts. For once, the camera didn't lie. It testified, and it convicted. But justice wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something bigger. Because that video forced the world to ask hard questions. How many times has this happened without cameras? How many stories never went viral? How many names are already forgotten? George Floyd became a name in history. But his story wasn't just about him. It was about all of us. What we're willing to see, what we choose to believe, and what we're finally ready to change. Since George's death, laws have changed. Body cams are now mandatory in dozens of cities. Bystander footage is considered valid legal evidence. And police reform bills were introduced nationwide. Because one lens made the truth undeniable. She didn't wear a badge. She didn't hold a gavel. But she changed the world. With a phone. And courage. The viral verdict proved one thing. The eyes of justice aren't blind anymore. They're recording. In the dead of night, under the glow of museum security lights, one of the world's most audacious art heists unfolded, and every second was caught on camera. But here's the twist. The criminals never even touched the alarms. Because they had help from the inside. March 15th, 2022, Boston, Massachusetts. The Riverview Art Institute. Home to over $200 million in priceless works, Monet's, Rembrandt's, rare ancient sculptures. But tonight, it wouldn't just make history for its collection. It would become the stage for the most cinematic crime caught on camera since the Isabella Gardner theft of 1990. And this time, the cameras were rolling the whole way through. At precisely 2:37 a.m., 3 masked individuals entered the rear service gate. No signs of forced entry. No broken locks. No alarm trips. Just smooth, surgical precision. The footage later revealed. One figure disabled the outer cameras. Another controlled the lighting from the electrical panel room. And the third led them right to the vault. The heist was so quiet. Even the night shift janitor didn't hear it happening. But the biggest clue came when investigators reviewed the motion-activated backup feed. A camera hidden in the sculpture gallery that shouldn't have been active at all, unless someone knew how to avoid it, and failed. The footage revealed something chilling. A gloved hand moves the security camera, but a reflection in a nearby exhibit shows a partial face. It's blurry, but there's something off. A distinct tattoo. A rare, custom ink design. One investigator recognizes it immediately. Not from criminal databases, but from an old staff photo. A museum security technician who had been laid off just 3 months earlier. His name? Tyler Langston. Tech wizard. Former system architect for Riverview security overhaul. And the only person who knew exactly where the backup feeds were hidden. We've got him. The FBI traced Langston's digital footprint. Turns out, the heist was months in the making. Tyler had recruited 2 others. One a former art restorer with access credentials, Another a locksmith with ties to a European black market dealer. They called it the clean job. But what they didn't account for, a security intern named Mia Valdez who had kept a forgotten cloud backup of old test footage. That's how they found the reflection. That's how the case cracked. I knew the system better than anyone, but I didn't count on the kid. He chuckles, coldly. The real twist, most of the stolen artwork was never meant to be sold. Tyler was building his own private museum in a secure compound in the Catskills, complete with LED gallery lights and motion sensors, a place where he controlled the cameras. Langston was sentenced to 30 years. His co-conspirators, 25 and 20. But of the 14 stolen pieces, only 2 have been recovered. The rest? Gone. Maybe in private collections, maybe destroyed, or maybe sitting in some hidden room, still under gallery lights, waiting to be admired by a thief who wanted to own beauty instead of protect it. In the age of surveillance, every crime leaves a footprint. But some criminals? They leave a signature. And thanks to the camera, that signature becomes evidence.